Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh,
You heard me
oh,
messing with you this morning.
yeah. To be truthful, I didn't go. I think I heard something the day before. But why I pull up at your dear house at before 7 o'clock this morning, and she was like, "I thought you was bullshit. I told you we gonna start on Monday. Get her up to go to the track this morning."
Y'all walking?
Yeah. Well, she running. I'm walking. I'm walking you to.
Good deal. We're going to get started here shortly. Today, we will be talking about the costly mistakes that we make in business, especially the ones as real estate agents or business owners. Also, do you guys have anything that you want to cover before we get started today? Any questions you may have?
Janelle, I have one question. I need to put together like a networking event, but I need a title for it. Would you be able to help me with it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. How's your stuff going?
It's going really, really good.
Good, good. I'm glad we was able
Yeah.
to put some clarity to it and get you in the right direction.
Yes, ma'am.
Good stuff. Anyone else have anything before we get started?
Just a quick announcement. I am super excited to announce that we will be having our first CE class opportunity today at noon. Contracts class. Please join in person or join via Zoom, and you'll be able to get 3 credit hours towards your CE. So I am stoked. See you there.
Let me give you guys some rules for the CE class just so you guys kind of have an understanding. So, CE is going to run a lot different than our other classes that we have been doing. In order to get the CE, you have to show up on time. So, you have to be in class at noon. You have to sign in and you have to show your driver's license to make sure it's you. Also, you have to be, if you're going to do it on Zoom, you have to be we have to be able to see your face the entire class to know that you're in attendance. If we go on a break, you will be able to get a break, but you cannot be away from the computer more than 2 minutes, or you will forfeit your CE credit. If you show up late, you will get the material, but you will not get your CE credit. So you have to be there at 12 and signed in order for you to receive the credit. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get started today, and our topic is the costly mistakes that we make in business. A lot of times, when people are starting businesses, they the one of the major costly mistakes that they make is not taking off their corporate hat. We begin to use the same habits we used in the corporate world, and it begins to be detrimental around month 3 to 6 when we haven't bought in to the business activities because we continue to think like an employee instead of a business owner. So, before I go through a whole list of mistakes that a lot of business owners make. Can you guys enlighten me on some of the mistakes that you think you may be making or you have seen made or that you are aware of that we need to address today?
Prioritizing time.
Very good. Our as a business owner, your time is money. The best thing to way to remember that is that you first need to know how much you make an hour. So a lot of times, especially real estate agents, when we become self-employed, we never sit down before we begin to make money and decide how much money we want to make an hour. So as a real estate agent, I make $1,000 an hour. And the way I determine that I make $1,000 an hour is that my price range is about 350 to $400,000. So the commission on that is 98 to anywhere to 9,800 to $12,000 every time I sell a house. I only give my clients 10 hours from the day that I meet them to the day that I close them. So I'm able to manage my time. I know that my consultation should only take 30 minutes. I only spend 2 hours showing you property because we will see 5 properties when we go out. I'll only spend about 2.5 hours showing. I'll spend about an hour with you writing the contract, going over it, make sure it's presented. And then we go through the other logistics of showing and getting the thing to the closing table. And then I'll spend an hour with you at the walkthrough. And I'll probably spend an hour or two with you at the closing table to make sure that this goes through. And I'll probably spend another hour or two with you doing my post-closing activities, like giving you a housewarming party, knocking doors to let your neighbors know that they have a new neighbor, etc., etc. So now you can just see how I determine how much money I make versus my time. Now, what does that do for me? When I've given my client more time because they're playing around, let's just say they have a client who cannot pull the trigger, or you find out that they're looky loos and they really don't want to buy a house. They just want to see a bunch of property. They have a bunch of dreams, but they're really not serious. You know how to pull the trigger and move on to your next client because you've given them too much time. So in actuality, if I give a person 30 hours of my time, did I really make any money? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where you really have to, I know it sounds tedious, but you really have to monetize every minute. So if you have not done that, you will find yourself doing a lot of busy work and not a lot of productive work. And that is a costly mistake that a lot of business owners make. Before you know it, you spend a whole week running around doing a bunch of busy stuff and you have not done any money producing activities. So at the end of your day, especially when you're new to business, you need to monetize your day so that you can make yourself aware of how much time you waste. So at the end of the day, what activities did I produce that were money driven? Did I meet a new client? That means I made money today. Did I do an ad? Did I create a event? That means I made money today. Did I show property? That means I did money activities today. But if I didn't do any of those things, if I didn't speak to any new clients, I didn't lead generate, but I spent a lot of time going to class and hanging out and going to networking events, I did not make any money. So I hope that's a good way to kind of determine if you're making money and if you're wasting a lot of time. What are some other mistakes that you have seen made in business or you're experiencing right now?
Mismanagement of money.
Very good. Um, a lot of us spend money on things that don't make us money in business. We will spend a lot of time paying people to do stuff that we have no awareness of, and so and we don't know how to fire fast. So we spend a lot of money in the wrong places. Where's the number one place you should be spending your money in business? Who can tell me where your money should go first?
Marketing.
Very good. That's right, Charlie. You should be giving your money to marketing. People have to know who you are. They have to know you, believe in you, and trust you before they will do business with you. So, if you're just a random person that picked up the phone and did not follow through with any marketing, it's hard to get people to trust you. So if you're not going to go out and market yourself personally, that means getting out in the street and allowing people to know you, you definitely have to have some internet presence. So I always tell people to ask themselves, how easy is it to get into business with me? The best way to find the answer to that question is to go to someone else's computer. Don't do it from your own, but go to another person's computer and Google yourself or Google the service that you provide. If you're a real estate agent and you work in a certain area, I want you to Google, um, I need a realtor in 770016. Now, if your name does not pull up, that it's not easy to get into business with you. Whoever name is pulled up is that's who's getting all the business in that area because 99% of business purchases are started online. So if you cannot be found online, you will be missing a bulk of the business. But that is one of the major things that you should be spending your money on. So now what is the next thing we should be investing in as a business owner? You guys are business owners. So what should I just started my business. What should I be investing in?
Yourself, education, coach, image.
Correct. You definitely should be investing in yourself, especially your image, right? Whatever you want to portray, that's what you need to become. So there's two ways that we market ourselves. It's usually lifestyle, it's the life that we're living, or the education or the things that we know. And so you have to pick the lane that you can be proficient in, that you can be consistent in, so that you will always be able to gain the attention of your audience. Another good tool to use is, what does the audience that you speak to want and need? So, when I mean by audience, it could be I want to talk to people who make money online, YouTubers, especially like me. I'm a coach. So people who make money online, it's great for me to monetize myself to people who are missing something. But I have to be educational. Lifestyle doesn't really do me any good, because what people need from me is knowledge. They don't need to be a part of me. They need knowledge. So you need to know what your audience needs. That is also a good thing to do. So I'm going to read some of these over, and you guys tell me, or you can add to the list or agree. But here's what I believe, that I've done enough study on to know that these are the costly mistakes that most business owners make. Um, the number three thing, or the highest thing on the list, is they have no systems and no processes. Most business owners, especially small business owners, don't know their numbers. They hire wrong and they fire too slow. We're supposed to hire slow and fire fast. And most business owners who are not educated, marry people and they don't marry the paper. And what I mean by that is, you meet someone because you have a need. And as long as they say, yes, I can do it, you hire them. But do you hire skill set, or do you hire people? Because if they don't possess the skill set that you need to get the job done, all you have is hired company. You really don't have any way that you can scale. Another one is no value proposition. Marketing, not getting in front of enough people. A lot of business owners don't have a business plan. Now, everyone on this phone is a business owner. How many of you guys have a business plan?
I have one.
I have one.
I have one.
Very good. So, for the people who do not have a business plan, it's highly imperative for you to know where you're going and what is your roadmap. That is the blueprint to your business. If your business plan is in your head, it will never profit you. So you need to have it on paper. It needs to be scalable. Every business can be sold, but it must be on paper. You can build a business, get it going, and get it proficient, and you can sell the business, but you will not be able to sell a thought in your mind. You have to have it on paper. So if you guys do not have a business plan, it's imperative for you to get one. If you're looking for somewhere to get one, you can go to score.org. Score is a company that will give you a business counselor for free. It will give you a business plan. It gives you a lot of documents and templates that you can use to run KPIs and research material for your business, and they will put you in the right direction. But it is highly important as a business owner to have a business plan. And if you notice, most of the people who did say yes, they're successful. They're doing something in their business because they have a plan. It's the smart goal. I have to have somewhere that I'm going, if that makes sense. So here goes a few more. They don't have any goals. They have no vision. There's two things that no one can teach you. That's motivation and that's vision. You have to tell someone, even if you wanted help with it and to grow with it, you got to tell someone, what do you want to do? So that's vision. Consistency. is our growth problem. It's not necessarily a business mistake, but it's definitely a growth problem. You need an action plan. You also don't have business harvesting. What I mean by a business harvest is you need to be able to determine how long your business will last. So that comes with your systems. You should have a system to tell you how much business you have and how long it will feed you. It's called a pipeline. How many of you guys have a pipeline?
I do.
Yes, I do. I call it an all well line.
Whatever you call, I call it business harvesting, right? Because as a business owner, we plant seeds and we have to watch those seeds grow so we know which ground is great soil, what seeds pays us the most, and how long will we be able to eat. So if you have a pipeline, it depends on what business it is, right? And how many bills you have. But a good real estate agent should have at least 25 people on their pipeline. A pipeline of 25 will feed you for a year. If you are, it's also scalable, right? So with a new agent, especially if you have a 25-person pipeline, which you if you monitor that for a quarter or two, and you are consistent with keeping 25 people on it, you can scale that. So when I say scale, does everyone know what I mean? It because a lot of times people they listen to words and they really don't know. And it's okay if you don't know, just let me know so I can explain it to you. When I say scale, do you know what it means?
Yes,
So all of you guys have a scaling tool. If you don't know what it means, just hit in the chat so that I know if I need to explain it or not. But I'm gonna assume that you
Can
guys
you
know.
explain it?
Yes, I can. So scaling means to take your business or take your item to the next level. So every business owner should first track. We have to track in order to be able to scale. So what I'm tracking are the activities that I'm doing. And every activity for every business is different. So once I have tracked all of the activities that I have done over a quarter, 3-month period of time, then I see which ones work for me and which ones don't. I also see which one brings the highest value to me and the ones that don't. And after I have figured that out, now I can take it to the next level. So let's just say I did 3 months worth of activity. I was able to meet my goals and I had a sufficient harvest to continue to go throughout the rest of the year. If I wanted more, all I have to do is do double or triple or add people to my team in order for me to do more. So that's called scaling. So if I want to triple my business, I would have to add team members. So that's a scaling activity. When you add people to your team to be able to do more work, that's called scaling. But it's not smart to scale before you track because sometimes we hire too fast. So we don't want to get in a position of adding people to a team that we cannot continually to feed, if that makes sense. Okay, so another one is late adjustments. You guys should have a 15 protocol in your business. So what a 15 protocol is 3 activities that you do at a high power when you're not on track. Let's think about it. I use this example in class all the time to help people understand. So imagine you're in the Super Bowl. You're the team that's down 1 touchdown at halftime. Most likely, if you made it to the Super Bowl, you had a plan, you had a goal, you had actions, but the other team is just a little bit better than you. But we want to win by all means necessary. So what we're gonna do at halftime is we're gonna go back to the locker room and we're gonna make adjustments. And most coaches, great coaches, is going to put the ball in the hand of the person or the activity that pays the most, that they can count on the most. So if they have a quarterback that is not producing, that's not on their game, they're going to put the person in the game who has produced for them the most throughout the year. So that's what you do for your business. If you're supposed to close 4 deals every month, when you're on week 2 and you don't have at least 3 deals in your pipeline that you know that's going to close by the end of the month, you need to find 3 activities that you can double down on, to triple up on, that will bring you the closings no matter what. So when you get back in the game, you're going to immediately score your touchdown and you're going to get back on track. Now, imagine this is a football game and this is your business. Do we get on track or do we try to get ahead?
I'd
On
imagine you gotta get
track.
on track first.
I
Mm,
want to get ahead. I want to get
amen.
ahead.
You want to get ahead. You don't want to get on track, because getting on track is still a setback. So if I'm supposed to close 4 deals at the end of the month and I'm at 2, I need to get 4 people in the pipeline, because 2 of them may or may not close, right? So if this was the football game, I want to go out and I want to score 2 more touchdowns really, really quick, because I'm up 2 touchdowns. So just in case at the end of the game we have a fumble or something happens, I'm still ahead. This is how you run a business. So every business needs a 15 protocol. You cannot adjust late. If you are doing an activity that is not paying you any money, it's not bringing any clients, and you continue to do that activity for a year, that's a late adjustment. It doesn't work. You need to do something else. So you should evaluate your activities every quarter. If it's not working, it did not bring you any business, stop doing it. If you have an activity that is working for you, double up on it. That's what I mean by late adjustments. You also don't have a rally point. You don't have a point where you rally everyone in and say, hey, you know what? We got to get on our game. We got to do this. Even if you're a one-man show, there should be a point when you have to rally yourself up and say, hey, we cannot quit. We must keep going. I have to do more. Those are your long days, late nights. Those are the times where you put in the most work, because we can't quit. We're at the point, at the brink where we could be a great success and most people fold. So you have to, because they don't have a rally point. They don't know when it's time to speed it up, to give more to it, to go harder than you've ever gone before. And we all have those points in our business where we have to do that. So you need to find your rally point and you need to make sure that you act at that point at all times. Another great business mistake people have is a weak leader. As a leader, no matter how hard it gets, you can't fold. You can never show your team, your business, your clients that you are a weak leader. You have to get yourself together both mentally and physically in order to do your job. You have to have outlets that you put in place so that no one sees you fold. It's impossible to fold. When you fold, the business folds. So it's always things that you should do. I tell people to brain dump in the morning time. As a leader, you have to brain dump. The way you do that is that you take a piece of paper and you just begin to write. Even if you're not writing words, if you just move the pen on the paper, you're dumping your brain. So you're able to get all of these random thoughts out of your mind. Sometimes you have to get massages. Sometimes you have to get away. A lot of times people have to take rides. Whatever it does to soothe your mind, whatever you do, that's what you need to do, because by all means necessary, you have to be healthy. You have to be mentally strong in order to be a leader. If you're one of those people that everything upsets you and everything makes you cry and you break down every time, it's time to get some mental strength if you want to be a leader. Another mistake people think when they get into business is they think that they get rich fast. It is not to the swift, it's the one that endures to the end. This is not a race, this is a marathon. Business needs to, if it's going slow, but it's happening, it's okay. The internet has made us believe that we're going to become instant successes. When you see someone online and they're winning, you do not see the work that they put in behind it. So don't believe the hype. Know that. There are points in your business where you won't make money, but don't quit. It's not a quick get rich scheme. Nothing is quick. And then revenue. One of the things that most businesses fail at is having enough revenue to keep going, because business owners who are not trained, who still have their corporate veil on, don't understand that you have to put it all back in. So I'm asking you guys, if I could teach you to sell 30 houses in a quarter and you made $10,000 on each house, that's $300,000. How many of you guys will put $200,000 back into your business?
Me,
I would.
Definitely.
That's a scary
we
thought, huh?
we're doing it
No,
now.
I mean, not when you talk
Yeah, I'm
about
gonna have to think about that.
no, not when you talk about all of the marketing and the stuff that will help the business continue to grow. It's not like, to me, that's the to me to bring you to the next level.
It's an investment.
I
Yeah,
would say this, and we're doing this now with the Yes to Real Estate team. It is scary, but I think we have to tell ourselves and remind ourselves it's okay to be scared, but still move, still go forward, and understand there's a principle, there's a that by you doing this, you're going to get this result. So it's okay to be scared, but continue to move while you're scared.
that's right. That is a very good point. We have to move scared. But remember, if we did all of the things that I just told you, we tracked it, we know our harvest season, we have developed ourselves as great leaders, we have our business on paper, we know where we're going. If I made $300,000, I can do it again. But if I want to stop just making $300,000 and I want to make $1 million, I have to put more money into the business because revenue is required to grow. So think about it as the commercials that you watch on TV. If you watch a commercial on TV, they have spent thousands and thousands of dollars for seconds. But in order to get a commercial, it costs a lot. To run a commercial on Xfinity is about $8,000 to $9,000 a month. So if I know that I need to run this commercial to get in front of more people, which means my business is going to triple because I know the activities that it takes to triple my business, I'm going to put it all in for the win. Because I don't want to just keep making $300,000. But a lot of us, especially real estate agents, when you get your commission check, you don't do the great divide. You should be doing at least 50% into marketing, but the great divide is 50% profit, 20% expenses, 30% taxes. That's another thing that we don't think about. So if you made $300,000, you need to take 30% of that and put it to taxes. When you make $300,000, you don't have $300,000. You really have about $100,000. And then you need to put the other part of it into in your expense account and double up on the activity. If you can understand it like this, every business has a window of opportunity, right? There's times in certain businesses that we make money, and then there's times when we don't make money. So if you don't invest at the right time, you could be waiting on an opportunity that has passed you by. In real estate, what are your windows of opportunity? When is real estate hot and when is it not? The summertime. Yep. Right. So the window of opportunity for real estate, people begin to look at real estate in February to about May. People buy the most real estate between May and September because the number one reason why people buy homes is for children, schools. So August is when the people go back to school. So if I was to make $300,000 in my first quarter, I'm going to spend my marketing dollars the most during home buying season. Why? Because it's already stained on their brain. That's when people do business the most. But I ran a KPI to understand when people buy the most, what are their buying triggers, and what makes them move. And that's what I spend my money on. So that $200,000 is going to triple if I spend it at the right time. But if I spend it at the mall, or I spend it on bills, or I spend it on somewhere else, when it's time to perform my highest, I'm broke. So I stay stuck where I am at all times. But the mentality of most small business owners is I made $300,000. That's most money I've ever made in my life. I'm okay.
But Janelle,
Yes, ma'am.
quick question, like just keeping it 100.
Uh-huh.
So when am I supposed to, you know what I'm talking about? When I'm supposed to ball? I done did hard work. I done made some money. Like I want to go buy me some shoes or something, you know? So like I get you want to put money back in, but let's keep it 100. A lot of us have bills, like, and we have other things we need to take care of as well. So when do we get to kind of benefit from our hard work, spend money, kind of like to enjoy?
I'm glad that you asked that question.
But before you answer that question, Janelle, I seen a video on Facebook the other day about a real estate lady who had sold a multi-million deal, and she had all this money, and she said, I went out with that money and I bought a car, I bought a new wardrobe. She spent it on dumb things, and she's like, and here I am 5 years later, and I didn't invest, and I didn't use that money for nothing, and that money's gone, that car is depreciated, and I don't even fit in that clothes anymore.
Amen. So you answered the
Mindset.
question.
Mindset.
That's the answer to the question. So, Shell, you asked me, when do I get to ball? The first 3 to 5 years of a business will determine the lifetime of a business. So if you don't put it all back in for the first three to
Mhm.
five years, you got to be willing to be broke. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be willing to eat cheeseburger off the dollar menu. You got to be willing to sacrifice for your business if you want the ultimate from it. And to be honest, most people don't even make $100,000 a year. So if you made 300,000 and you got 100 to live on, that's the most you've ever seen anyway. So you've been living on less, continue to live on less. There's times when you have to take from yourself personally to make your business grow. Now, that's only if you want to go to your highest peak. And it does take, AK, you're completely right. It takes a mindset to believe that it's going to get greater later. But if we spend all of our fruit right now, where are we going to be 5 to 10 years down the line?
And
The same spot.
that mindset is so dangerous. I'm pretty sure that probably kills 80% of the agents. That's an employee mindset. You waiting on the check to go spend your fruit, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So we got to reinvest. We got to put it all back in, and then if I don't even want to ball out no more, I just want to put it back in and grow my egg. You know.
We have to invest deep to grow it wide. So AK is correct. When it's time to perform, this is what I'm saying. When you know your peak point, when it's time to perform, if you spend it all now, you won't have any money to perform. And in everything, not just business, it could be gambling, it could be sports. If you spend all of your energy at the beginning of the game, Shell, when it's time to win, when it's that last quarter, and you let the other team drain you, you have no running power, and they're gonna run the board up on you. Am I right? The whole objective is to drain you, is to take every energy out of you. That means they're going to go to man until the third quarter, and then they'll go to zone. Why? Because they don't wear you out. You're tired. You can't
Now,
keep up
now,
with them.
now, I do want to speak on the behalf of people who do want to ball out, because I'm one of them. Okay, but here's the thing: you can ball out, but you can be smart by it. So, say for instance, you want to go spend 75K. Okay, go take your initial investment, go invest into something that's going to give you that return. Now you use that profit to go ball out or do what you want to do, and you still have your initial investment to go reinvest again and get more. Right. So it's ways of balling out and not using up everything, but direct your money to what you want to do. If you want to go buy a $75,000 car, go make an investment, wait the 2 or 3 months, get your profit, and then go ball out. So I'm not against that, but it's how we ball out that we have to be mindful of.
How you
So
say, Andre? Earn your leisure.
earn your leisure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm a true believer in tying. You can ask Shannon and anybody that, especially Ray. I'm a true believer in tying an asset to a liability. That's how I live my life. So if I don't have a coaching client that can pay my car note, then I don't go get a car note. I'm gonna attach an asset to a liability. I know, just like Andre kind of said, I know how much money it takes for me to live the life that I want to live, and I gotta have an asset that pays for that. And I'm not talking about necessarily an actual item, but I have a business strategy. So if you would have done all the things that I told you before, your business plan, your action points, your harvest check, all of those things, you know what makes you the most money. So if I really want to do it, I'm gonna go out and make the money to do what I need to do. So if you own rental property, if you have 5 rentals, you go invest in 5 rentals that's giving you 1,000 or more a month, and then you want to go buy a $75,000 car that costs you 1,000 a month. You just tied an asset to a liability. So I'm gonna have the rental house forever, right? I'm gonna have it at least getting collecting rent forever on it. So now I can go get a 6-year car note because I'm making $3,000 off of these rentals, which is an investment, and my car note is only $1,000 a month. But you never spend your money. You always invest your money as a business owner. Every dollar you spend is an investment, and you can have the things you want, but it still is considered an investment. So if you live like this, tie an asset to a liability. How much are my liabilities? If I have $15,000 a month worth of liabilities, I need an asset that's paying me $15,000 a month or more. Does that make sense? So, Shell, I hope that
No,
answered your question.
absolutely.
Yes.
I hope that really answered your question. And I would be remiss to go in and just kind of tell you, oh, well, it's okay if that's what you want to do. No, that's not what today is for. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. You can adapt to it or, and grow to it. But I'm telling you what most business, I've studied it. Most businesses have these same issues. And it's always, it takes money to make money. We hear a lot of things and we really don't evaluate them or apply them to our business, but that's true. It takes money to make money, and you got to be ready when the money comes. I use Andre for an example. When the opportunity to develop a property comes and you need 30% down, if you have spent all of your money, you miss the opportunity. If I can take $200,000 and build 4 more houses, am I not going to make more than $200,000? But you're saying, I don't want to eat noodles. I want to go get the purse. I want to go get the shoes. I want to go get the car. I want to live that life. But you only had one set of wins. You only had one set of monies. So now that's gone, what do you do?
You, can I ask something, Ms. Janelle?
Yeah.
Well, I think speaking from a marriage point of view, one of the toughest things to do is when you're building a brand or a business is getting the other party involved in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife gave me the hardest time at the beginning. I mean, the hardest time. The doubt, the unbelief, the this is not going to work. We stayed in an apartment for the first 3 years while we was buying properties, rentals, and selling homes. And you know how hard it was to buy property, go close on a home, and we go back and clock in to apartment unit 905, 3 stories up, and then convince my wife that we're on a road trip to home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
It is the hardest thing to convince your partner to do that. But if the vision is with you, you have to be strong enough for both parties until the other party come along or at least in agreement. And it was a fight. So for all the people who's fighting that good fight, understand it is a fight, but you can't push through.
Thank you, Andre, because I'm struggling with it. Oh my God. That don't believe part. Oh my God. Every day. You spending money on this. Leave me alone. You doing this. It's oh my
Oh,
God.
I
I
heard it.
listen, y'all. I wanted to do my sorry. I wanted to add my why in the group me last night. It probably was gonna be 10 pages long because I literally sat in bed and I was like, this is the why. Everything that plus a little bit more is the why. Like I have to do this for me. I am doing it for me, but like you said, that struggle of them not believing and not being able to push you, especially when you know you push them through their dreams, that's the hardest shit to swallow ever. Every day it's a constant mind battle for me because I know, like what I'm capable of in other aspects, and I feel like I've accomplished it. But in real estate, okay, you did leasing for so many years, but here you are in real estate, you struggling. And I constantly feel like, yes, I'm learning, but it's a constant struggle for me. Every time I feel like I'm getting started, like my baby gets sick. And I mean, like, we at the hospital sick. Like, I feel like I'm constantly being knocked down every other day. And I'm finna stop talking because I feel like I'm about to scream. But yes, I'm struggling with that is one of my biggest struggles. And it's a struggle and it also hurts because I don't feel like I have that push. So I definitely understand what you're saying.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, Andre. I promise I probably had this conversation 10 times, no lie, in the last 2 weeks, right? And that's the reason why a couple months ago, you guys might want to go back and look at listen to the Clubhouse where we were talking about marriage and business. This is one of the reasons I just told you guys, like, you have to be mentally strong. You cannot be a weak leader. You have to find ways to get yourself to the no. And you're going to have the adversity at home. Everybody don't see what you see. And you have to ask yourself this, right? How did we start? Because when people get into relationships, guys, this was not supposed to be about relationships, but let me help you. When men get into relationships, they get into relationships with the end in mind. And when women get in relationships, they get in relationships with the beginning in mind. So men think, and guys, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Once I got married and I accomplished, okay, I got that done, that's over with. Now let me go over here and let me do this. Do y'all agree?
Agree.
Okay. So women don't. We're the opposite. We go in and we have all of these dreams about what is to come. So the problem is when you meet two people get together, we've married the situation to what it is, and we believe it's going to be the same for the rest of the relationship. So if one person comes in, and I've been working a job, I've provided the security as a man to the wife. She's working a job. We get to do the things we want to do. We get to have the things we want to have, and we're fine. When you come in and spring an idea on me, that I am unfamiliar with, you got to expect the rejection. And what a lot of people do is say, trust me, without providing vision. This is what it's going to look like. We don't invite the people in. We say, hey, just trust me. So we don't have enough round table conversations in our house because we feel like we don't have to explain each other. You know, I love you because I married you with the end in mind. Trust me, this is where we're going. You got to understand that I know what I'm doing. That's not enough. So if we want to have healthy relationships, we have to give more information. We have to give more vision. We have to give more plans. We got to see it on paper. And we have to expect that it will not be fully understood. So we have to move with understanding and caution, but we still have to move. And that breaks up a lot of marriages, guys, because we don't move with caution, but still move. So either you're going to break down and you're not going to do it, or you're going to tell the person, just follow me, just understand. And it's hard to follow someone. You know how many people don't believe in God? It's hard to follow someone in something that you can't see. So if nothing else, deal with that person with understanding. Because that's what the Bible tells you to deal with the weaker vessel with understanding. Remember that you brought them in this relationship with one understanding and you just switch lanes. So when you're on the road and you switch lanes without a signal, you usually shake somebody up and you could cause an accident. If you move in your relationship without signals, you could cause a divorce. You could cause confusion. So be careful with that. They may not see your vision. Should you keep going? Yes, you should keep going. But you have to understand where they are to understand why they complain. And it's not for you to stop. It's just for you to provide a little bit more information and a roadmap to them. Saying to someone, just trust me, is not enough because they trusted you with their heart and with their life, and they're not sure where they're going with it right now. And what you provided them when you were dating them is not what you're providing them right now. So that's just a piece of advice. Think about it. Okay, so I went through all of the list of things that I have that are most that business owners mistakes that business owners usually make. Do you guys have anything to add to it? Did I miss anything, or was most of it on point?
Most of it was on point. I
It
mean,
was
the
on point.
marketing for me, I'm still doing little stuff. And I know that on a couple of calls ago, well, a few calls ago, it was like, well, you don't have to have everything in order. I feel like that's the way my brain operates. So if I don't, I guess it's part of OCD or something. I don't know. But I'm still doing this stuff, like, I guess in the steps. Like, I hear stuff on the call. And when I do talk to Miss Janelle or whatever, I still try to stick to that stuff. It's just taking me longer than I expected and I definitely wanted it to. So that's the only part to me that's like discouraging is that I keep having a plan. Then it's, again, the whole kid situation for me has been a lot. And that's like, I'm still going. I haven't given up. Even though I feel like it, I still go every day. I still push myself to do something. It just doesn't always feel well. And I know that's a part of being an entrepreneur, but again, even though Miss Janelle just talked about it, for me, it was a support. Like when me and my husband first started our first business, it was a support. I didn't care what you was doing. We gonna do it. Tell me what you want. I'm gonna try to figure out a game plan and we gonna go with it. So again, now it's like, well, oh no, no, no. It's like you don't hear that. So everything you said was perfect. Thank you for the advice on that part too. Because at this point, I just feel like I just yeah.
Well, it's a difficult thing for men to grasp, right? If some of the men on this call, they may not say it out loud, but if we were to flip the script, right? And the wife will be like, okay, you know what? I'm just quitting my job and this is what we're gonna do, or I'm gonna go into this and I'm gonna do that. When it becomes a real business or it becomes a success, sometimes it brings fears in our life, right? And it's okay. It's a human thing. We just have to kind of address it. We cannot sweep it under the rug because men are groomed to provide and women are groomed to support. That's just what society tells us. That's what we're supposed to do. So it kind of gets a little funny in there when the role changes or the situation changes. And that's just with anything, right? If you guys, whenever you walk into a situation and it changes, if you wasn't made aware, you're still a little uneasy. So just think of it from that perspective. Not that it don't work. Andre is completely right. They don't see your vision. You have to keep pushing, but you can provide a little bit of information. And as a leader, you can't let it make you weak. If you believe in what you're doing and you have all of the matrix in place, you have to keep pushing. Now, one thing Andre does do is put the matrix in place. When he doesn't find out, he hires someone who knows. Another thing about business is, you don't have to know it all, but you need to know who knows it, who does it well, and that's who you hire. You don't have to know how to do KPIs, but you can hire a company or a person who knows how to run KPIs to make sure that you're doing the right thing, right? You don't have to know how to do administrative. You don't have to know how to type, but you can hire an assistant. So it's doing the most important things, the groundwork things, the foundational things. If you guys don't get anything else or don't implement anything else, make sure you have a business plan, make sure you have an action plan, and make sure you have a business harvest check. How strong is my business? What am I doing wrong? And if nothing else, evaluate your business every month, because sometimes we just keep moving, we just keep going, and as long as we got customers, we think we're doing fine, but we'll get all the way to the end of the year and realize we didn't make as much money as we wanted to. That's because we never really looked at the business, so we didn't have time to adjust. Having business does not mean you have a good business. A fluent business that's growing and you're doing more and more every single year means that you have a great business. So tomorrow, A lot of you, when I say KPIs, do you guys know what a KPI is?
Key performing indicators.
Yes. So tomorrow we're going to be going over that. That is a really great conversation to have. I will be going over the general KPIs and how to check those, where to get those informations from, the charts and all that stuff. And I will specifically be diving into matrix for real estate agents, making sure you have the great key indicators so that you guys can learn how to make money fast. Stop doing everything and find the areas and the things that will make you money. So if you have some real estate friends, and that need this help, please invite them into the room. Tomorrow will be about, it will be the finishing of this conversation, but we will be focusing on KPIs to make sure you guys are getting the right outcomes to your business. It's everyone should have a KPI, a set of KPIs that you're running your business on to make sure you're reaching the right people, doing enough activity, and getting the right things from the people. Does that make sense? Any comments, concerns before we get off today?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I will put these, a lot of people kind of join late. So I will put the set of business mistakes into our group me chat. I will make a chart of these and I will put them in the Clubhouse so that you guys can get a copy of them. If you want a copy of these mistakes so that you can make sure you use a checklist, just put a message in the chat and I will make sure you get it, or you can give send me a message on Instagram at I am Janelle Compton, and I will just say, hey, I want a list of those mistakes so I can make sure I use a checklist to check them off, and I will send them to you because it's always good to know that you're doing everything that you need in order for your business to grow. If you're coming to the office or if you need CE for your license renewal, we will be doing contracts today. If you want CE, you have to be in class on time. You have to be there at noon. You can get the CE online or on Zoom or in person. If you go on Zoom, you'll have to see your face for the whole 3 hours of the class. And if you come and you're late, you will be able to get the material. You just will not be able to get your CE credit. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. If you guys don't have anything else, have a great, productive day, and we will have another conversation again tomorrow. Shannon, do you have anything?
No, that's great. To learn more about our training schedule or CR Elite Brokerage, please email training at CREliteRealty.com.
All right, you guys have a productive day. See you tomorrow.